Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those that are new, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. I highly appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell if you happen to see any form of information is actually beneficial to you and your situation. And of course, for those that have been rocking with me for a while, I most definitely appreciate each and every one of you. Please continue to tell a friend so that we can continue to grow this community where we go about educating each other on all things money. Today, I will be going over some financial literacy terms. As I stated before, whenever we're trying to seek financial freedom, when we're trying to have that strong financial foundation, we must have an understanding of the definition of different terms. If we lack this form of knowledge, things may not work in our favor, or we might not actually get the full fruits of our labor, if you will, whenever we're lacking information, whenever we're lacking knowledge. So again, financial literacy is very important. I will just be going over a few terms, if you will. One of the terms is going to be a liability. A liability is pretty much the opposite of an asset, as I've actually went over the definition of an asset in the previous financial lit video. An asset is, of course, some form of an investment. It is something that's going to actually help you generate some form of revenue, some form of income, some form of funds, if you will, whereas a liability, unfortunately, is actually the complete opposite. So this means that not money, but funds or revenue is actually being distributed in a way that's not going to actually help you increase or gain more revenue or more funds or income. Liability, let's just go ahead and throw it out there. Legally, this is when a liable party is obligated or responsible to pay a debt. So an example, let's say at a store, someone mops the floor, they forget to put out the signage that there's a wet floor. They forget to put out that wet floor sign. They can't tell that the floor is slippery. In turn, they fall, they slip, they hurt themselves very badly. Now there's a lawsuit pertaining to medical bills, public humiliation, whatever you name it. As that company, as that party that actually failed to put out such signage, the other party got hurt. You are the liable party. You are obligated, legally that is, responsible to pay the debt. You have to pay those medical expenses and whatever else may actually be in that lawsuit. This makes you the liable party. Again, this coincides with a liability. So again, just as a recap, an asset is something that's going to actually help you generate revenue, whereas a liability is pretty much the opposite. You're losing out on revenue. Another important financial literacy term is budget. I think that we should all go about creating a budget, but I think that we need to look into the entire definition, if you will, and embrace what it really means. Of course, a budget is a plan to help you distribute your income, your funds, to help you meet financial obligations. However, I think that whenever we go about creating a budget, sometimes we're hard on ourselves. We start to become overwhelmed. We start to gain anxiety. We start to develop negative thoughts pertaining to this budget. We start to say, oh, I can't afford this. Oh, I don't make enough. I don't have enough. I really wanted to do this. Now I have to change my plans. I have to reevaluate this, that, and the third. A budget is really a friendly plan to help you go about making wiser financial decisions, okay? And whenever you create a budget, you will see that in some cases you're able to get the things that you need as well as what you want, because you're actually going about distributing that income in a healthy way. There's a certain pattern that you develop where you're getting your financial obligations taken care of and out of the way, and now you see that you have money left over to treat yourself pertaining to those wants, and then in turn you can have the best of both worlds. That is actually the point of a budget, to help you see what you are working with regarding your financial obligations and your expenses that you know, okay, I have to take care of X, Y, and Z. However, now you see what's left over. In turn, either you can invest it. Again, you can treat yourself by buying something that you really want or that you like, or you can put it away into your savings, however you choose to do so. But nonetheless, a budget will actually help you physically see the money that you're working with, the income that you're working with, to help you take care of your financial obligations. So this is a healthy way to actually help you make wise financial decisions, okay? I encourage that each and every one of us go about establishing a budget, whether that be a day-to-day budget, a weekly budget, a monthly budget. You can even do it annually. The point is to just try to stick to this budget to the best of your ability. Another term that I would like to go over is really more so of a concept. However, it is an emergency fund. We just went over the importance of a budget. So how can we go over that term and concept without touching on emergencies funds? Emergency funds, the name is in it, right? It is merely to help us take care of unexpected expenses in case of an emergency. For instance, let's say something happens with the car. Now you have to figure out how I'm going to pay for the parts. I got to pay for the service and the labor. However, you have that emergency fund established, you can tap into that to help you take care of these unexpected expenses. Another example, let's say that a loved one becomes ill, and at that time, that during that time duration, they're not able to work. However, the bills don't stop. If you have an emergency fund established, you can tap into that to help you take care of some of those expenses that are flowing in. An emergency fund is really to help you and your household in case of an emergency. I don't think that we should go about creating and establishing emergency funds whenever a crisis is already hit, whenever we're actually already in a crisis. It's an emergency already, and now we're scrambling around trying to figure out how we're going to pay for this and how I'm going to do that. If you have that emergency fund established, you can have a peace of mind. You will have the burdens lifted off of your shoulder, knowing, okay, I got this. I can take care of this responsibly. So I think and encourage that everyone should go about establishing an emergency fund. If you have yet to do so, most definitely do so right now. Okay, at the end of this video, just go about doing it. You can simply do this by putting away a few dollars every now and again, coins here and there. As we know, coins actually add up to dollars. Just nonetheless, you do want to establish an emergency fund. You do want to make sure that you are creating a budget so that you are spending your income or your funds wisely. And then, of course, just keeping the importance of being able to differentiate. I don't know if I said that correct. However, whenever you're trying to distinguish between a liability and an asset, it is very important to know the difference between the two. Again, an asset is going to actually help you generate revenue, as well as a liability, you're losing out on revenue, okay? So if you have any questions or concerns pertaining to the terms that we discussed on today's video, please comment that information below. If there are certain terms that you would like for me to go over, comment that information below. We are here to educate each other and help each other seek that financial freedom, that financial foundation. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I highly appreciate it. And of course, until next time, please remain on your grind.